Hello and welcome to Parent Orientation. I just want to go over a couple things with you. I know that this situation isn't ideal, but we're going to do the best that we can to meet the needs of your child, even though I am here and they are at home with you. So let's see what we can do as a team. So just a couple things about me. This is mostly for the students, but I have been in Ontario. I believe this is my 14th year in Ontario. I've been teaching for, I think this is my 18th year. I worked in Columbus Public, I worked a little in Reynoldsburg. I love being outside, playing with the dog and the bunny, and canoeing. And just sitting on the porch and reading. So those are just a couple things about me to introduce myself. So I wanted to go over a few things with you during this time. First of all, I wanted to go over the Google Meet expectations. So once your child is on Google Meet, I expect their behavior to be like that within the classroom, that they follow the classroom rules and that they're respectful. Their appearance is also school appropriate. So we are trying to form an atmosphere within your home, and when they come up on the computer screen, that resembles a classroom. So if at any point you're questioning something, ask yourself the question, would this be okay for school? So for a location of where they need to be, you need to make sure it's somewhere quiet. And when they're on a Google Meet, you want to make sure that they let other people know that they're on the Google Meet so that it limits distractions. I would recommend facing the camera towards a wall, like I have done. And so that eliminates the cases of another child running around in the background in their diaper or whatnot. And then the student should be the only person on the camera. The volume, so once they join, I'm asking that everybody, after I greet them, everybody's going to mute themselves. And then to do that, we'll eliminate the background noise. Last year, I had a lot of people with TVs on and music playing in the background because there's other family members. And sometimes the location we choose is the dining room, which is really close to other places or a table somewhere. And then when I talk about the classroom rules and expectations, I expect them to be positive, respectful, responsible, prepared, and safe, forming pride among themselves and as a community classroom. For classroom expectations, so when I want them to be respectful, I want them to remain focused on their lesson, make sure that they mute themselves after we've greeted, and then I will show them how to get my attention in order to unmute themselves once I call on them. You need to listen to your teachers and classmates. I work a lot usually on eye contact. That's going to be hard. They need to speak clearly and they need to use appropriate language. And I will also be teaching them how to use the chat box. Parents, tonight I will be showing you how to use the chat box at the beginning of our meeting. They need to be responsible, so they need to be on time to the meeting. Make sure that their device is plugged or charged or plugged in. Okay, sorry about that. Had a little interruption at the door. Again, I can't reiterate enough that they need to have a workspace that is quiet and away from distractions. When they are assigned an assignment, they need to make sure that they're following directions and they complete the assignment. During the lesson, if they're able to come to the live lesson and not have to do the recorded one later, which we strongly encourage, we ask that they try to participate, just like in class, within the lesson and the discussion. And then they need to be comfortable asking questions for help. And if they're not, you need to help me as a parent to get them to that point where they will reach out to me. That's super important. And then to be safe. So they have the school devices. Hopefully we're encouraging students to take those. So they need to make sure that they are washing their hands before they use the device. Sometimes I know last year kids were eating snack in my room and they need sticky food, and then I'd have to tell them they're not allowed to do that because it would get all over the Chromebook. Limit food and drink around the device. You're supposed to use the school device for school purposes only. Don't share their password or information online. I wouldn't want anybody getting in there because the district can look and see what they're doing. And then you want to make sure that students are taking short breaks and standing up and stretching and going to get water. And that's probably why it's a good to have a different spot for like a snack time or drinks for your kids, just so that they get up and they're moving around. And then real quick, I wanted to go over this with you. You already have this slide presentation about them picking a spot. I did email that to you, but just it reiterates how to do a setup at home. So just some daily check-ins with your child, setting some expectations for them. We have testing your technology before the first meeting is super important. A weekly calendar or schedule for organization. So I am going to share something with that about that later with you. Some supplies they might need, maybe in a basket or just a little tub next to them or a pile. But hopefully it's semi-organized on a power source to reiterate that, and then be thinking about that background so that it's nice and student-friendly, classroom-friendly. And come back here. Okay, I'm going to go over with you what the typical schedule will look like for the students. Now, this week it's going to be a little bit different, so please keep that in mind. So we want to work up to this schedule. So every day we'll have a morning meeting that everybody will attend at 9 to 9:30. And then at 9:30 to 12, they will have a reading group. So their reading group may be at 9:30 or their reading group may be at 11:30. I will assign that time at a later date once we have their scores in. And then after that, they're going to have a little bit of a break, and then we're going to do a math whole lesson at 1 to 1:30. And then they may have a math assignment or something to work out after that. And then we also will have 1:40 to 2:10, some word work or writing lesson that they need to be on. So as you can see, the green is where everybody is on, and this they'll have an assigned time, and this is the office hours and intervention time to be able to contact Mrs. Horning and Mrs. Horning with the parents, and then intervention also for those students that might need a little extra help and maybe they're having trouble with regrouping addition or whatever it is that they need. That is a typical Monday through Thursday schedule. A Friday schedule would look like this. So from 9 to 9:30, they'd have math. And then from 10 to 11, they would have science or social studies. And then the rest of the day is mostly for intervention use and purposes. So I would take what I got from that week, and I might pull a couple of students aside to work on the Bossy R or a math skill that they might need. And just so we're clear, and I know that I've put this in several places, but the schedule is subject to change, just depending on how everything pans out, basically. So what are you going to expect throughout the day? So throughout the day, this is outside of the lesson that I do. I would expect 3 to 4 assignment activities a day for reading. It will be all laid out for you, and about 20 to 30 minutes of additional work practicing skills that they may need after math. And then the other subjects will be kind of based upon when there is a need. And then down at the bottom here, you'll have access to this slide, but it does say that it gives you my contact information and that we are using Remind. So please remember to look back in your emails and go ahead and get attached to that Remind app so that if you need to quick communicate with me or a quick question, we can go through that route. Email is preferred, but if you need to do the other, that is also totally fine. Okay, here we go. So using Google Classroom. When using Google Classroom, first of all, you want to make sure that you have Google Chrome is downloaded as the internet browser to the student's device. So we really encourage you to get a school Chromebook. That way it's all set up and all they need to do is log in one time on their computer and it links them to everything else that they need. You need to understand how to log into Google. using the school email and password, and then you need to find the first agenda posted in Google Classroom. So I'm going to see if this will work. Bear with me if it doesn't.
Welcome back to another episode of Google Tech Tips. I am Mr. Vaca, and today I'll be going over a very brief tutorial of Google Classroom and all of the awesome different functions and abilities that it has, and some of the questions that both students and parents have asked me over the summer. So to get to Google Classroom, the very first thing that you need to do is log into your Google account. My first step is go to google.com. Once you're logged in, then I want you to click on what I like to call the waffle iron. You'll see that waffle iron in the very top right corner up here. Then you want to search for the icon that looks just like this, Google Classroom. If you can't find it, there might be a little button down below after the last row of apps that says Show More. If you click that Show More, you will then find Google Classroom pop up below. Once you click that icon, you will then be sent to your Google Classroom homepage. This is what a student's classroom looks like if you're in middle school or high school level, where you bounce between different classrooms for each subject with a different teacher. If you are an elementary or primary student, you will most likely have only one classroom, which means you can only see one box here. Each one of these boxes is a different classroom if you are a middle school or high school student. So let's take a look at one of the classrooms where I am the student. What you want to do is click on the title of the class to go specifically to that classroom. So this is the student view of the classroom. I am a student, a member of the science committee, and the science department chair is the teacher for this classroom. As you can see, right here, the big main section is all of the different posts, announcements, and big items that are coming up in the classroom. This is like what you would say is a Facebook feed or a Twitter feed, where you will see chronologically all the different things or activities going on in the classroom. The left-hand side of the screen is broken into 3 categories. The top box in the top left corner shows what work is due soon, the next upcoming assignments. Right below the work due box, you will then see another section that has classroom folder, classroom calendar, and your Google Calendar. The teacher will put either the syllabus or other classroom materials, maybe their handouts, in the Google Classroom folder. So any materials that you maybe missed if you were absent, you click on that and you will see everything that the teachers posted. They also will have in their classroom schedule or classroom calendar all the different assignments, when they are due, maybe special events in there, and you can then link that through your Google Calendar located right below, so that when you open up your calendar, you can see, hey, this class has this due, this class has this item due, so on and so forth. The final box on the left side, the biggest one, is all of the different topics that are going on in the class. Maybe a teacher has broken it up into different groups. Maybe it's all the different reading groups within a classroom. And so group A will have a specific project that they're working on, or maybe they want to talk about a brand new discussion coming up in the next week. So students can easily navigate the different topics going on in the classroom in this section below. Some teachers will break up their topic section by introduction, syllabus, different projects. Other teachers will have every lesson is a different topic. So your topic section will really be dependent on your teacher. If you want to go back to see the other classes that you are enrolled in, all you want to do is click the 3 horizontal lines in the top left corner, and that will bring another menu down. And you could choose your class right from there, or if you wanted to go back to the Google Classroom homepage, just click the tab that says Classes. And that's it for today. Google Classroom is a very easy way to keep track of all the different assignments that you have coming up and keep yourself organized. So let me know down in the comments below if you have any other questions or would like me to cover any other.
So once you're trying to log in, if you'll just follow these directions, that will be helpful to you. This is the end of Parent-Student Orientation 1. I will be back for a second recording.